Waka, what's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch Transformers review, official Transformers review. I feel like I have to spell that out every once in a while as I do a lot of third-party bots on here. But today we are taking a look at a long-awaited mainline bot. We're going to be looking at Transformers Legacy United Origin Wheeljack. And this is my figure, and I got to give a huge shout-out to JJ for grabbing me this figure. I am into these United Origins figures, and so I did definitely want this one as I have the other two. I wanted one to complete the set, and JJ went all out for me. He actually found a figure of this earlier than this video, but unfortunately that figure was missing this in the box, and JJ wanted to make sure that I got a full and complete figure, so we waited a little bit longer and he eventually got around to grabbing one. So huge thanks to JJ for going out, especially going out for me, going out for the channel like he always does, and getting this on my table. He has not yet decided if he wants this figure, so hopefully this review will swing him in one direction or the other. But either way, let's get right into it, take a look at the box. And of course, we noticed that there is no more Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. I believe that name was taken away. It's now just lumped into Legacy United. We have Origin Wheeljack on there in his little space minivan mode. He has little spinny thingies and his little laser cannon fire, and it looks really good. Origin Wheeljack on the side, Transformers, Hasbro, and he is a Voyager class, whatever that means. I don't know what the classes are in this. And it's Legacy United Transformers, and on the side we got a very nice shot of Wheeljack. He just looks way more menacing than he actually is on this picture, but that's still okay. And it's of course a nice Cybertronian text, and on the back you of course have all the things that this figure does: robot mode, alternate mode, 40 years of Transformers, Transformers Authentic, since Takara has so many third parties all around them. We have a nice shot of all the lines that the series that Legacy United covers. 40 years of Transformers. Hard to believe that Transformers is as old as I am. I just gave away my age, and of course we'll take a quick look at the instructions. Legacy United Wheeljack on the side, and of course we can see all the instructions. There's a lot to do in this guy. A lot to do. He's got a lot of pictures here. They're very pictorial instructions, no words or anything like that. And you can see all the transformation gimmicks and stuff, and there you go. So that's going to be pretty much it for the instructions, and let's get right into Origin Wheeljack. And the first thing you notice is Origin's Wheeljack is a very chunky boy, and it seems like he's taken a lot of heat as a figure for that, and I just got to say my piece on this. So you know, in the series, Wheeljack transforms into a Lancia Stratos, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a very small Italian sports car. And that is based off the G1 toy, which also transformed into Stratos. They never made a G1 toy with Cybertronian mode because he was only in it for like less than a minute. And now they have made a toy, you know, obviously being the space minivan he is on Cybertron, of course, they had to have somewhere to put the junk. So you can see he's wearing a lot of his alt mode on his legs, on his back, got a little bit of open paneling on the back. But I gotta be honest, if you were expecting anything different from this to facilitate the vehicle mode, you were setting yourself up for disappointment. So I mean, honestly, being a mainline figure, being the budget, I think this is relatively okay given how he turned out. He is short and stubby. Let's get a look at the head. You can see the blue paint for the eyes, looking good. They got the nice silver-ish paint for his little ears and his little spines on the head and all that. It looks a really nice Wheeljack head sculpt. Got a lot of molded detail amidst unpainted plastic on the wings, on the arms. The wings are teeny tiny on this one, and you see the arms right here are mostly done in plastic. You got paint, very nice paint, an Autobot symbol on the chest with clear light blue plastic for his windshield. That looks really good in my opinion. Then of course he got his legs, plastic all along his legs. Going down to the side, if we go to the back, you can just see a lot going on the back. As I previously stated, he's wearing most of the vehicle mode on the back of him, and that's okay, but they did do a nice job to try and get some molded detail in there, which looks all right. As far as articulation goes, the head can swivel side to side. He can look up just a smidge. He can look down pretty much straight on. The arms, they can go out, and they can go all the way around. You got to bring it out to avoid his big backpack. And and of course he does have a bicep swivel, and he does have an elbow joint that gets you a direct 90, and then of course he has a joint at the wrist which goes all the way around should you need it to. Bring his arms out to the side, and we'll give him got a waist rotation, looking good. He can do a nice high fusion kick just like that, pretty chunky fusion kick. No real fusion back kick, the backpack gets in the way, but he can get roughly out to the side. A fusion, we'll give it a fusion kick out to the side. If we bring him up, you can see he gets more than 90 at the knee, looking real good. And then the feet are a ball joint. They can get you some tilt down at the toe. Oh, come on, now tilt down at the toe, tilt back at the heel, and then they can get you some side to side at the ankle, and that is pretty cool for that. So overall, I mean, given his proportions, overall pretty decent articulation for this figure. We'll get into his accessories. He does come with quite a few of those. The first being his gun or shoulder cannon. We'll go over in just a bit, but it is done in a nice clear plastic and painted over with silver. Got a lot of nice molded detail on here. A little bit of waffling at the bottom, but that's okay. I'm never going to look at the bottom of it. And that will, of course, fit into his head. The typical mainline style, just got the little peg, and you can see he's got the little circular opening in his hand, and you can just kind of shove it in there, and he can hold it just like that. However, one thing you do notice about this gun is, of course, it does resemble his typical shoulder cannon. You do see he has a port right on his shoulder, and you can just kind of plug it in there as well, and you can just have the shoulder cannon look going, which is personally my favorite. But of course, if you don't want it there, you can, of course, plug it into this little port on his backpack, and he'll just hold that in there just like that if you want it out of sight, out of mind, and that is totally super cool. And then, of course, we'll bring this out real quick because, of course, we have two of his little fan blades right here, and of course, they are done very painted in a nice silver, and they were from they were that thing from that episode, but of course, they do have ports in the back, and you can do a couple things here. So, of course, the gun, you can plug it on the tip of the gun if you want to have something crazy cool like that going, or if you so desire and just want to store them until he uses them in vehicle mode, you can just plug them into these ports on his little backpack right here, and he will hold them quite firmly. In fact, this is how I like to store them, just kind of out of sight, out of mind. And the cool part is this does become the roof in vehicle mode, so you can just not take these out, and whenever you want to put them in vehicle mode, they will just kind of incorporate with the transformation there, which is really cool. So a really nice storage option for that. And then, of course, he does come with this little piece, and we're actually going to bring this piece back later on in the vehicle mode, but this is just to go. This is essentially is his shield, doubles as a street, and of course you can double it as a set of wings in robot mode. And how that works is you have these two slots on the back. If you notice on his big backpack, you have these two tabs right here, and what you can do is you can just put those on him just like that. It's just a little bit of a chore to do that. And he's got a set of wings. I actually don't mind this. It looks actually really cool in my opinion. I've actually taken a few pictures. If you watch the short, I have a few pictures of him with this on. I think he looks really cool. Not show accurate by any means, but you know, just kind of way to incorporate the accessory into the robot mode. And that is pretty much it for his accessories. And we'll do a few quick robot comparisons. So the first one, we'll do it with the only other main line I have that isn't an Origins figure, and that of course is SS86 Hot Rod. So you can see how he looks with kind of, I guess, what a standard figure would be. I don't know. I don't know much about mainline scaling or sizing, but there you go. And I guess, you know, if you consider what the masterpiece is, size to a masterpiece Hot Rod, then this looks okay in my opinion. And that's going to be pretty much it for him. And then, of course, let's get the Origins characters. We'll bring in Origins Jazz and Origins Bumblebee right there. The trio together, the first three Autobots that we see on screen, and how cool it is. I mean, overall, I really do dig these figures. I take them in stride with what they are, given what they satisfy and given what line they come from. They are mainline figures, so I think they pretty much look all right. I do think Jazz does pull off everything the best. His robot mode looks as accurate to these tune as it can be, and of course his vehicle mode does copy that from the G1 cartoon. But overall, I quite enjoy all of them. And it is that time, so let's get Mr. Wheeljack transforming up into his Cybertronian minivan mode. And overall, this transformation is actually, the engineering is quite admirable on this figure, so we're going to get right into it. So the first thing you want to do is turn a bunch of stuff around. You're going to take his waist, you're going to turn that around, you're going to take his head, you're going to turn that around as well, just like that. Then what you want to do is you want to bring the chest down. You notice you got a little tab here. It's going to go into a little recess slot right in there. You're just going to push it in just like that. So his head is facing the wall, just like that. Then what you want to do is you want to take the arm, you want to rotate it out just like this, so it's sitting like this, and then you want to take his arm right here and rotate so that kind of the hand is, rotate it the other side, and then you're going to open up this hatch right here, and you see you got a spot to put his hand. So what you're going to do is you're going to rotate his hand just like this, and then you can rotate it, and you want just like this because you get at this tab right here that'll help you when trying to take it out. And then what you want to do is you have a little tab right here. It's going to go into a slot here right on his arm, just like that, and it's going to be the same thing on this arm. I'm going to do that off camera. We'll be right back. And so now he's sitting just like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spin him around. And this doesn't tab in too well. You can see it's got kind of a 2-slot thing, but it never really slots in all that well. So what you want to do is you just kind of want to pull his back out, and then we'll pull the upper part of the roof out. It just tabs in right on here. You can kind of just pull this out and kind of rock it back. And then what we'll do is take his wings, just kind of fold them in so they are out of the way. And then we can bring his arms up on the shoulder hinge. You can see they got some over-under tabs, and we can just kind of tab those in together just like this, and that will get that will basically have these tabs right up here aligned, and then of course you have a slot right up here aligned, and you notice you have a slot here and a slot here and a tab right here on the roof, and you're just going to kind of bring it all together. And this can take a little bit of finagling, but there we go, and that is pretty much all connected just like that. And you just kind of leave this out right here, just out of our way. And next what we'll do is we will focus on the legs, and the legs are a whole bunch of unraveling, so you can move it out to the side, give ourselves some room just like this. You can kind of open up this tab right here, open this up right here, and kind of fold, actually before you fold this up, bring this up just like this, and now you can fold it out just like this. And then of course what we'll do is we'll open this up on this hinge right here, and while we're doing that, you'll see that you've opened up this hinge on the back. You can unfold this out right here, and we will take the foot, spin the foot 180 degrees around, and you got this little slot right here, and you're just going to kind of recess the foot inside the lower leg just like that. You can rotate this around, and then you can bring this down on this hinge right here, and that'll kind of line up with there. You can see it basically forms the side of the vehicle. And the last thing you want to do is we have this flap right here. You open this up, and then of course you have another hinge to open up right here. Just a whole bunch of hinges, this whole hinge system. And the last thing you want to do is you just want to break his leg. You just kind of untab it at the untab it right here at the knee, and you basically have the whole side of the vehicle and back of the vehicle on one side done. It's going to be the exact same operation on the other leg. I'll do that off camera. So now we got this going on. This is kind of the most finicky part of the transformation because they got all these panels that got to line up. So the first thing you want to do is I prefer to tab everything in at the front first. And all you're going to do is you got tabs and slots all along the front here, and you're just going to kind of push it together on one side. Same thing for the other side. We'll just get that done real quick so at least one part of this stays cohesive. Then just kind of line everything up. You want to line the doors back up. You can see it's got little tab and slot connections all along just like that. And you can just kind of push his legs together. And then of course you have tabs up here in the clear plastic and tabs right here. And once you got this lined up, just kind of get it as lined up as best as you can. Just kind of try and make all the walls and everything all like that. And then you can just bring down the bottom, and you got the little tabs that are going right into here as well. So we can just kind of squeeze this together, and it again is a bit of a trick. Oh, but I think we got it. I think it did it. Yes. Oh, and there it is. All right, and there we go for that. Everything looks together. And the last step that we want to do is you just want to take his little chest plate right here. It does come off, and you got two little tabs right here. They just go into two pegs right here, and there we go. And like magic, there we have Transformers Origin Wheeljack in his space minivan mode. So let's take a look at this space minivan mode. And I'm not too sure if this really is a space minivan, but that's what I'm going to call it anyway. And overall, you can definitely tell this is where the love was put into this mode, his little space mode here that he had in the first 2 minutes of G1. And it does look really, really good. You got all the nice details all around. Lots of nice molded detail on the side. You got that nice forward decal that is kind of painted on. It does look really good, really clean, especially for the front roof line. Clear plastic for the windshield or space shield. I'm not sure if there's any wind on Cybertron. Same thing for the clear plastic right here. And you can see they painted the sides in a nice kind of aqua to simulate the clear plastic or the glass, whatever. And then of course they have a nice metallic kind of green here on the top. Not sure how well you can see that, but it does look really, really good. Got the spoiler here because he used all that downforce in space. And you know, he does have some hinges here, especially on the backside, lots of hinges. But again, it's a mainline. What do you want? And he's a Cybertronian vehicle, so who's to say it wasn't supposed to be there in the first place? Got some gray, dark gray plastic on the lower side skirt right here, which does look very good. And then of course, if we look at his bottom, it does close up as best as it can. It's still a mainline toy. It does have a little bit of gaps right here. I do like how the windshield kind of comes down and fills in the bottom right here, and you can of course see his head. But nevertheless, overall, I think a very serviceable vehicle mode for Origin Wheeljack. And of course, he can store some of his accessories. Now, all his accessories that he had in robot mode have a use in vehicle mode. In fact, their primary use is for vehicle mode. And so of course you have these little fan thingies right here, and those can plug in. Of course, he has two little nipples on front. He's got nipples in vehicle mode. You can just plug those in just like that, and you could have that thing from that episode where I believe it was in the first couple of minutes of More Than Meets the Eye, and you can spin them around if you want. They don't spin by themselves. You have to kind of use some force to, but that's where those are meant to go. And of course, you, like I said previously in the review, you can store them. But if you open this up, the gun, of course, you can bring his gun in, and if you want him to have his gun in the vehicle mode, you can just plug it right into the top just like this, and that does well. It does kind of have the turret kind of deal. No, it kind of doesn't look as ridiculous because he's a Cybertronian vehicle, but of course, if you want to, you can just open up the back plate and store it where you stored it in robot mode, and that will store just fine as well. But we can take that out, and we'll do a couple quick comparisons. We're going to do the comparisons early for a reason I'll explain in just a moment. So let's bring in, of course, the only comparison that matters: Origin Jazz, Origin Bumblebee. And again, the first three Autobots of G1 together at last, and they look very, very good. I do quite like these. I think this set was knocked out of the park by Hasbro, so definitely bravo on this set. But either way, we're going to move Jazz off the table. We'll put Bumblebee off to the side since we're going to have him in just a few minutes. I do want to bring in his the last of his accessories to go over. This little shield right here, and of course this was his wings in robot mode, but the primary use is in the vehicle mode. You can just kind of fold these in just like this, and you can kind of put this in. You do have a little tab on the back here. You got a tab slot right here, and you can just plug this in just like this, and there he goes. You can have his look that he had in G1 mode, have his little armor plate right on there, and that is pretty cool, just like that. And furthermore, what you can do is you can also reenact a ton of stuff from G1. You can open this up, and you can kind of open up his back plate right here, and you can actually put Bumblebee inside. Yes, it's not the instructions don't flat out say it, but it does have it on the back of the box. You can see it's got the little shadow. You can put Bumblebee in the back, and this does have a little prep work for Bumblebee, so you can kind of untab his little side panels and fold these over, fold this over just like this, and then fold this panel in. It's going to be the same thing on the other side. You just want to fold it over just like this, and then all you want to do is you'll notice that you can just put him in the back right here. Oh. And he will not go any further than this little block right here. But of course, if you want to, and there he is. And then we can kind of just close this up just like this. We can kind of close the back area up. And it's, again, it's a tight squeeze. It is a tight squeeze. But yes, you can see that he does fit all of Bumblebee inside the vehicle. Let's get his shield off real quick, because you can see Bumblebee peeking in there. Oh, it's so cute. He's just got a little... Bumblebee is driving Wheeljack. And yeah, so Bumblebee can be totally protected inside Wheeljack. Another thing that we can do real quick is you can take, of course, Bumblebee's conductor rods, and he does have little slots on the top, and you can plug these in on the top just like that. He has 6 slots in total, so he can carry all of them. Just one thing to note, when you do have the shield on, you do kind of gotta move these back. So let me put the shield back on real quick, and because if you notice that when you try and put it on, it just kind of doesn't really line up. So if you have the heat shield on, you do have to kind of put them back like this, but he still will carry them. So he can carry all of them back to Iacon and power the Arc for the Autobots. And of course, the last thing to go over is you can take the heat shield off. And this is the one kind of crappy part. You can see mine already has stress marks, but what you can do is you can kind of untab this. You can kind of separate all the pieces. Same thing for this side. And then what you can do is you can flip these over, flip this over just like this. And you can just put them together just like that. And what you can do is this will actually double as a road. It looks like the Cybertronian road that we had in the first episode, which is really cool. Again, it kind of doubles as his own display base. This guy kind of does it all with the accessories, brings everything to the party, which is really cool. Just kind of really cool thing for them to include, albeit being a bit finicky the way to get this set up in this mode. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. So let's summarize on Transformers Legacy United Origin Wheeljack. And yes, let's start with the downsides. You can argue that this figure sacrifices everything in robot mode. He's short, he's stubby, he's got a ton of kibble on his lower legs and back, and you would not be wrong in that opinion. However, I will state that I do believe that opinion alone does a disservice to just how much this figure has to offer. You still get all the articulation that you can expect from a figure at this type, at this price point. You get tons of accessories that are incorporated into both modes. The alt mode is clearly where this figure shines with all of the gimmicks. He can carry Bumblebee inside him, for crying out loud. This figure is basically the epitome of that specific thing from that specific moment of the first 2 minutes of More Than Meets the Eye, and I absolutely love it. He absolutely sets out what he set forth to do from the get-go, and quite frankly, I think this is a job well done, a home run in my personal opinion. And if you feel the same way, of course, this guy is a Target exclusive, so we got to do things the old-fashioned way, boys. Just kind of keep your nose to the ears, to the streets, and check out those stores. But of course, if the robot mode is that big of a detractor to you, you can of course check out Ross in a few months and see if you can get this guy at a lower price, if you live in the United States, of course. But that being said, that's going to conclude this review, so you guys know what to do. Like if you found this video fun and informative, subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Of course, you can check out my other playlists in the description below, and I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.